So today's topic is about why why people do feel lonely, right? It's a common behavior that we have nowadays, feeling lonely, right? Even though we are connected with peers in the internet, we can see what I can see what my friend is doing. I can see what other people that following are doing, right? And then in the meanwhile, I feel lonely, right? And even though we talk with hundreds of people, we get likes, we comment, and we go in the internet, right? We go deep, we go surfing the internet, but we also feel lonely because when you stop going in the internet, right, surfing the web, you will be alone again in your room, right? When you finish your work, you go home, you feel alone, right? Maybe you have family, maybe you have children, maybe you have a friend that lives with you, but at the end of the day we are alone by ourselves because we came to this world alone, right? And I think that modern life made this easier, right? Because you can communicate with hundreds of people easier just tapping on the cell phone, the screen, and you have a lot of communication. So why do people still feel lonely, right? I think social media plays a big part in it because social media help us to connect with people, but we still feel disconnected in certain ways, right? We can date, we can make business, we can succeed making money, right? And all that routine, all that daily activities that we do, we still feel lonely, right? And because of that we start to compete against ourselves, and we play in the area of competition as well, right? then sometimes um, then sometimes you feel lonely, not because you don't have friends, but you feel lonely because people feel lonely because they feel disconnected, right? Even though they are surfing the internet, they also feel disconnected. Yes, and also we have the adult life, right? We as adult nowadays, it's a completely different game than the previous generation. That people didn't have internet, people didn't have the access that we have today, right? The connections and everything. In this comes to the modern life, right? Adult life. When we were children, it was much more easier to make friends. It was natural, right? What's your name? And let's be friends, right? But today people work, people have a hobby, people have many things to do. So they feel busy and lonely, right? And that comes technology. As I talked before, as social media and all these connectivities, connecting activities that we do every day, right? So technology replaces real connections, right? I can talk with a friend via internet, but it's not the same thing as we drink a coffee, take a cup of tea, and discuss, right? It's completely different than the real connection with people. Yeah, messages, emails, you connect with them, but not a deep connection, right? The interaction with among human beings. It's a little bit different today. Okay, also people feel fear of vulnerability, right? People are afraid of being vulnerable. So if I post a video, what people will think, if I am talking English with a camera, what people will think about it. If someone sees me talking in English with the camera, what do they think about? So I'm afraid of people's opinion. I'm afraid of being vulnerable, right? Because I may be doing something different. I may be doing something wrong that is not in people's mind perspective, right? So people may look at me in a different way. So that's why people feel kind of, people have fear, afraid of, and they feel vulnerable, right? They hide their emotions because they don't want to get in touch with the deeper sense of themselves, right? And sometimes I think that if you expose yourself, even though it's a little bit hard, it's difficult to put your emotions in words. But I think it's very important to break through this barrier of what people will think about me, right? And that way you can create new connections with friends and people. Okay, and also modern independence, right? Today, we want to feel more independent. We don't want to rely on others. Uh, it's about emotion or opinion or likes. Okay, so people want freedom. People want to feel freedom, and they want to create value. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create value with my followers, right? Trying to make connections with them, and that's it. I think that people want freedom. They want to feel more connected, and a hopeful conclusion that I want to say that is, I don't think that loneliness it's I don't think that loneliness means that something's wrong with you. No, I don't think that. I really don't. And I think that many people experience the same feelings and the same things, the same behaviors, right? Going to work and coming back home feeling lonely. I think many people feel that way. It's not, you are not excluded from feeling this. I think that this feeling is shared uh, among people, right? Yeah, I think that if you have a friend or a family, having a conversation with them, engaging with them, this way you can see yourself in the conversation, right? Because if you hide in a cave or in a room and isolate yourself from the world, I think this won't help you at all, because we know ourselves when we connect with other people, right? We see how we react, we see how they react, and we see what is going on our minds and behaviors and all that stuff that I have been talking about. Okay, and honestly, I think a friend is many times a friend is sometimes better than a therapy, right? I heard that in a song, so I agree with that. And that's it. Hopefully, you are feeling more safe, and don't isolate yourself, right? Even if you feel lonely, try to connect with peers, friends, and that's it. Hope you are feeling good, and see you in the next video.